Okay, today we're going to finish up chapter 1. We're going to talk about complementary and supplementary angles, which I did kind of give you a hint on that yesterday, correct? Yes. So, does anyone remember yesterday what I told you about complementary and supplementary angles?
No.
Complementary is 90 degrees and then supplementary is 180.
Good. Complementary tells you 90 degrees. Supplementary tells you 180. Okay, so let's walk through that real quick on this. Knowing that should help us move a little quicker through this as we go through. So, complementary angles. Are two positive angles whose measure has a sum of 90 degrees. Okay? Now, adjacent angles we talked about have a shared what? A shared side, right? So if I have a complementary angle here, these two have a shared side, okay? So this might be 50 degrees, this might be 40 degrees. So the two angles are still complementary because they add to equal 90, and they're adjacent because they share a side. Then it's possible to have non-adjacent, right? Do these two angles share a side? No. They have their two independent sides of each other, but they are also complementary because they add to equal 90 degrees. Okay? Makes sense? All right, so let's walk through a few examples on this together. Example 1 says, find the complement. Anytime you see the word complement, it means the total has to equal what? 90. So we're finding the complement of an angle whose measure, should say, is 38. Okay? So every time we're going to add two parts and set it equal to, if it's a complement, we're going to set it equal to 90. Okay? Do we know either of the angles?
Yes.
Yes, we know one of them is 38. What are we going to call the other one? X. Okay? And then it's one step to solve. We subtract 38 from both sides. So we get x is equal to 52 degrees. So the complement of 38 is going to be 52 degrees. All right? Okay, example 2. The measure of an angle is 4 times the measure of its complement. Find the measure of each angle. Okay? So again, we're going to add two things together equal to what? 90. Now, this one's a little tricky because it doesn't give you an exact value for either angle, correct? So what would we call the first angle that we don't know anything about? X. What do we know about the second angle? It's 4 times that, so 4x. Okay? It's important that you write that out because a lot of times I'll see people just write 4x equals 90. Well, that's not going to get you the correct answer because you didn't add the complement angle. Okay? So we get 5x is equal to 90. Divide by 5. X is equal to 18. Now, it says find the measure of each angle. We have the measure of the first one is 18 degrees. How do I find the measure of the second one?
Times 18.
Yeah, 4 times 18. Okay, somebody do that in your calculator for me. 72 degrees. Okay. Yes? All right. Okay, number 3. The ratio of the measure of an angle to the measure of its complement is 1 to 3. Find the measure of each angle. Now, when we see these types of problems, essentially, we're just going to put a value with each one of those ratio numbers, okay? So, just like we did the last one, we did x plus 4x. This one's going to be similar, except what two things would we be adding? If I put a variable with each of these. We want the same variable.
X plus
So 1x plus 3x, yeah. Because the ratio is 1 to 3, so we just put a variable with that, and then we can solve.
Do we have to put 1x or can we just put x?
Yes, you can just put x. I just put that because that's what the ratio says.
Okay.
Okay, so we add them, we get 4x is equal to 90, which means x would be equal to 22.5. So we know our first angle is 22.5 degrees. How would I find my second angle?
Times that by
3 times 22.5. Yep.
68.5.
67, I think. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, how did you know you were
How do you know?
by 3?
Do what?
How did you know you were multiplying by 3?
Because my other angle here, just like this one, x, so I had x and then I had 4x. So my first angle was just x, which was 18. To find the second one, I plugged it back in. Same thing here. My first angle I got was just x, so my second angle, I plug it back in times 3.
Okay, so you always do like a second angle?
It just depends.
She's
Like-
depends on what? Jeez.
Like, what do you mean?
I just think it's because 1x still equals x. But then you plug it back in.
Yeah, because really, you don't need to plug this back in here, because what's 1 times anything? Just itself. So if one angle is just x or 1x, you don't have to plug that one back in.
Yeah.
They're not always going to be like that. I'm about to show you an example where it's not. And maybe that'll help answer the question you have. Okay. All right. Example 4 says A and B are complementary angles. Find the measure of each angle given. So angle A is 4x minus 2. Angle B, 9x plus 1. So what equation would I set up to solve here?
4x plus 9x plus 1.
Good. 4x minus 2 plus the second angle, 9x plus 1, complementary, so we set equal to 90. Okay? So add like terms, we get 13x, negative 2 plus 1 would be a negative 1. Okay, Austin, what are my 2 steps to solve?
Plus 1 is divided by 2.
Okay, so we get 13x is equal to 91, and then x would be equal to 7. So on this one, is one of these angles 7 degrees?
No.
No, right? Because neither angle is just x. This one's 4x minus 2. This one's 9x plus 1. So on both of these, I have to go plug back in. So let's do 4x minus 2 first. So 4 times 7 minus 2. What's 4 times 7? 28 minus 2. 26 degrees for my first angle. What's 9 times 7?
63.
Plus 1. Good. Serenity, did that help answer your question?
No, not really.
Okay. Ask me again on your question on the other one.
Like, obviously that one, like, you had to find x and then you plug it into both of them.
Sure.
But on the one before that, number 3, like...
Why did I only plug it in on the second one? Is that what you're...
Like, how did you know you were supposed to plug it in on the second one?
Because here, listen, you can plug it back into both every time, right? But like on this one, if I got x is equal to 18, well, if I plug that back in for just x, do I really have to do any work?
No, but like, what if it's not just x? Like, what if it's 4x and 6x?
Then that's why I plugged it back in on this one. But on both of these examples, one of them was just x.
Yeah. What the heck is happening?
I think she's saying, what if it's like 4x?
Or 6x plus 4x.
Like, what
Then
if
you
it's
combine
not
by
just
terms.
an x?
You
what
combine
if-
Right, then you have to plug it back into both.
Okay.
The only reason I did not plug it back into both is because I had one that was just the variable I solved for.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'm with you.
It's just x.
No, I got it.
Okay.
It's just like,
Yeah.
what got my head
Okay,
spinning
here we go.
more.
Let's move on before I get us more confused. Sorry. Okay, second set, same idea. The difference here is we're doing supplementary, and on supplementary we add to get what? 180. Now, you guys, it's important that we know what each of those words mean. Because sometimes they will give you a picture that shows a right angle or a straight angle. Other times they will just tell you, like all of these examples, that they are either supplementary or complementary. So we have to know what those two things mean, okay? Adjacent, we already talked about. What does it mean when something's adjacent? They share what? They share a side, okay? So here, if I have 120 degrees and 60 degrees, they share a side, but I can have that same idea of 120 and 60, but not having shared sides. Okay? All right, example 1. Find the supplement of an angle whose measure is 102. So what two things would I add together?
X.
Plus 102, and I set it equal to 180. Okay? One step to solve here, subtract 102. So the supplement to 102 is 78 degrees. Okay? All right, example 2. T and R are supplementary angles. Find the measure of each angle, given that the measure of angle T is 36 less than the measure of angle R. So we're going to do R plus T. Do I know what angle R is?
No.
So what do we want to call it?
X.
X. And then we're going to add T. What do I know about T?
It's negative 36.
Read the whole thing. 36 less than R. Well, what was R?
X.
X, and it's 36 less than that. Okay? You have to be careful on these types of problems. Okay? Because every time you will write essentially the variable twice. Okay? I will gladly help you. All right. We set it equal to 180. Add our variables and solve. So we get 2x minus 36 is equal to 180. We add 36 to both sides. So we get x is equal to what?
108.
Now, do I need to plug that back in for just x? No, right? I know my first value here is just going to be 108. How do I find my second value?
Minus 86.
108 minus 36. Okay. What is 108 minus 36? 72. Good.
Last page runs. We can do it.
All right. I know. Okay. All right. Two adjacent angles form a linear pair. When their non-common sides are opposite rays, linear pairs are supplementary. Okay, so we know if I have two adjacent angles, kind of like we just talked about, measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 has to equal 180. Essentially, linear pair is just another way they tell you that two things are supplementary, okay, because they form a line. Yes? Okay. All right, anybody want to try example 1?
Would it be 4x plus 2 plus 30 equals 180?
Good. We add the two parts, set it equal to 180. Go ahead and solve that for me, Turner.
I'm going to add like terms.
Okay.
So it's going to make it 4x plus 32 equals 180. And then going to subtract 32
Okay,
37.
very good.
This is what?
37.
Okay, in this case, all they would have asked you for is to solve for x, right? Okay. Anybody want to try the second one? Huh? Did you say yes?
I wrote the problem in X2.
Oh, that could be a problem.
You can go ahead.
Come on, somebody try the second one.
Would it be X plus 15X equals 180?
So here's what I would always do on these. Okay, you are close, Symphony. I would write like this with my two blanks that I'm going to add something. Okay,
Yes, you want me to take it and try?
Oh, wait, was it 5?
do what?
Is one of them 5, the numbers? Okay.
No.
I don't know.
So all it tells you is the measure of one angle is 15 more than twice the other. So what's the other angle that we don't know? We call it what? X, right? So I would start with X, and then Symphony, how could I show 15 more than twice the first angle?
2x plus
2x plus 15.
Good job, son.
Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Truthfully, like, I think I said what you were saying on the other one, is like, we just have to remember that our first angle is going to be X. Like, if they only tell us about one angle, the other angle has to start as X. Okay? And then we can just write our expression for the second one. Okay? All right. So we get 3x plus 15 is equal to 180. So here, what value do we get for x?
x is 55.
55. Okay, now it says find the measure of each angle. So did we already find one of the angles if we found just x?
Yes.
Yes, our first angle, right, is 55.
Add 15.
And then we do 2 times 55 plus 15. So what's 2 times 55?
110.
110 plus 15.
125.
Oy, I don't have much practice time today. All right, last thing. Okay, vertical angles are opposite angles formed by two intersecting lines. Vertical angles are congruent. So here I have two pairs of congruent angles, right? We could label these 1, 2, 3, 4. So what that means is 1 and 3 are congruent, right? I should have done that a little better, but 1 and 3 are congruent, 4 and 2 are congruent, right? Remember those arcs show congruency? So basically, when you have two lines that cross, angles directly across from each other have to be congruent, okay, or equal. So if that's the case, right, and I want to solve down here for x and y, how could I solve for x first if these two are across from each other?
12x plus 15 equals 75.
Yes, if they're equal, we set them equal to each other and solve, okay? So the first one we're going to do, 12x plus 15 is equal to 75. Okay, we subtract 15, we get 12x is equal to 60,
X equals 5.
so x is equal to 5. Okay, would I set up y the exact same way? Yes, because those two are equal. So same thing, 6y minus 27 has to be equal to 105. Okay, then we just solve. So we get 6y is equal to 132. which means our value for y is 22. Okay?
No, you didn't.
You don't have to on this because, well, here's the deal. We know what the exact measure of this angle is, right? What is it? 75. We also know this one has to be 105. So on those, it won't ask you for that. It'll just ask you to solve for x and y. Okay?
For this next one,
Yep.
we don't have to find y since it's already by itself. Right?
What?
Well, I mean, you do still have to find the measure of it, but it'll be just, we'll just find it a different way. Okay?
Or is it not just 55?
Is it not what?
Just 55?
How?
Because 55 is across. Oh,
No, that's across here.
It's not vertical. We're not converted.
What other way, though?
It's 40.
Oh, so
You
I
can
mean-
add the 55 and 85 and then.
Okay, hold on. Let me write that down. So Turner's correct, right? I can add those two angles together, and he said that gives me a total of 140.
And then you subtract it from 180.
Why would I subtract that from 180?
Because it's all on.
Good, because that forms a straight line, which I know is 180 degrees. Okay? So we know y is equal to 40 degrees. Very good, Turner. Now, who could tell me how to solve for 8x?
8x plus 40 is equal 180.
Yes, that is one way. What about, you are correct, which I do like that, but what about using vertical angles, since we're talking about vertical angles in this section?
80x equal 140.
Good. Yeah. Notice, sorry, this angle here, 8x, is a vertical angle to this whole entire thing. Okay? So we can set 8x equal to 140.
Wait, why 140
Do what?
Why 140 and why
Because it's a vertical angle. Hold on, let me erase this so you can kind of see. So 8x is this angle that's in the red, and that's a vertical angle with this whole angle here that's 140. Right? Directly across. Now, Felipe, I like that you said that because sometimes there is more than one way to solve for the answer. Okay? So some people will see add and set it equal to 180. Others will see it's vertical angles, so we set them equal to each other. Okay? All right. I know we don't have a lot of time. I just want you to hop on Delta Math real quick. You can use your whiteboard and just practice for a minute. Okay?
Delta math using the line.
Well, actually, just write one more and I'm sure. You know what?
I'll give up on that. Are you tired? Fish.
Sir.
Publicly announcing my retirement of geometry.
Okay.
There was no proof for that.
Hey, Felipe. Come here real quick. Listen, do you feel like this class is too easy for you?
Maybe.
Do you want something that's a little more challenging?
Oh my, you're
Okay,
talking about.
so next week, Miss Music that teaches across from me teaches an Algebra 2 class, and I'm going to see maybe you, and then I've got another student, Alejandra, if you guys want to go in there for a couple days and see if that's something that we might be a little better for us. Because that's, Algebra 2 is the next course they take after this. Because I talked to the counselor and I just feel like, not that I want to lose you guys because I like having you in class, but I think if you all want something more challenging, I want to give you guys that
I don't know
opportunity.
what your brother is, but in Brazil I was like learning about log and trigonometry.
Already?
I just do this and I
So,
think I will start the thing at 5.
Yeah. Let me look up her schedule because if you're already, let me ask her. Let's go over here.
Oh, make sure you put current event.
There's 9 questions. What the heck, Fish? That's too many.
And then also put the date.
Hey, dude, I can do it for the first
you put that date? I did it on Wednesday.
You're gonna get put in honors.
No, not honors, I'll be pursued.
I'm not doing no more algebra.
Barry was tell me if I got it right.
That's what Alejandro's doing too. Moving on algebra too, I think. Cause they've already learned this.
Because they're so smart over there.
Their school is only from 7 to 11.
I
In
know.
Brazil.
I think that actually.
I'm in Brazil. For real?
7 to 11.
They
That's
have
4
like
hours.
math one day, science another day.
And they're
history
like-
another
Cause
day.
they do biology,
Week one,
physical
thirty
science,
minutes.
and chemistry all in the same year.
I'm not able to read.
Like, we do it one science a year. They do like all 3.
Yeah, we're like
Can
actually.
We're
Yeah.
so stupid over here.
I just went to Brazil.
And they say we have a good education. But at least we
have
have
a
elementary.
Wait, how do you find the message?
Just
I
see,
don't
I'm
know.
supposed to be
That's
real.
what I'm on.
How am I supposed to,
Hello? How do I do this?
where'd Fisher go?
Maybe it's
I
50.
already
Oh,
that
50.
room that says do not enter.
I already,
Let's,
I don't know what C is.
Oh, C is 130. And then 180 minus. Let me try.
How do you do it then? I'm just gonna do.
That, oh, that
Does
was.
the line equal 180?
It is, it's 50.
I know.
We're not the same, but.
Hey,
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
hey, Austin, do you know
Thanks,
that?
Turner.
Fisher, I need some help with this second.
My Chromebook's.
Skip it, go to the next one for a second. Hold on.
Okay, I skipped that.
Two big things.
Why should be wrong next word?
That's right.
Okay, I don't know how to do this.
It's so easy.
Austin, go away.
You don't need help?
Well, it's congruent on the
Okay,
other
that's
side,
fine.
so C would equal what that is, and then 180 minus, what is that, 122?
That doesn't make sense. Oh. Not good. I'm wrong. Decades are wrong. Well, I'm wrong.
I feel like I don't know how to do it.
I don't know how to do it either, but I'm still getting them right. So,
What the heck, how'd you do that?
I don't know.
Okay, let's take a minute.
Just go to the
Can I
next.
borrow your calculator?
Hold on.
I just need to borrow it.
Well, I'm.
Okay, let me clear this.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I'm done.
Sorry, 4 plus 4.
Well, this is for sure not.
I just subtracted wrong.
If you just use like 180 and 90 degrees, like, and just try to find those, it's easy.
I give up.
Hey guys, does anybody have a Chromebook charger?
Me neither, girl. There's 2 minutes left.
Sometimes these don't.
The one that popped part is C. Oh, I'm so retarded.
Yeah, I'm just here. What the stink?
I get it now. I'm so hungry.
Oh, I'm done. I'm done.
Which like they're doing review right now, but I'm thinking that's gonna be okay because that
Oh, I
class is
don't
2
know
years
how
about
to
this
do
one. So I'm thinking, here's what I think it would be.
Wait, is this homework too? Hold on, check your,
Yeah, they're just simplifying it. I think
We are.
Okay, I understand it now. It wasn't like clicking, but then it clicked.
Alright, I'll tell her. I think what we'll do is like next Tuesday and Wednesday is just have them go in there, see how it goes, and then if you're like, this is better. we show. Hey, yo,
I swear, I bet you're wrong.
are anybody here with me or is it?
I got heart.
No, just practice. Probably need to practice it.
I can do it myself. I'm good at math.
Yes, are you with me again? It must have been I copied class.
Fish, that's not homework, right?
Okay, if they're directly across from each other, what do we know about that? Okay, so you set them equal to each other. Can't believe you skipped them, Mara. Are you saying the or you just?
Yeah.
I have driver's.
Yeah,
You can just, you can get your driver's time.
Fish, that's
I didn't know if you were in
that's
my
not
RTI.
homework, right?
No, just practice.
Okay.
There's time to go to bed.
Okay, that's fine. Did you get it done?
No.
Sorry, it was a crazy. Rowdy, I already went over your mistakes with you on Master Connect, right? So you're
All I did, I missed one step.
okay. So you're ready to do that?
Is if I get my picture that I had back,
Yes.
Okay. What you want? What do you want?
But once you get into
There will be a new code. Yeah, let me get it. All right.
I think that's 3 weeks.
It's been a tough week. People on my nerves. Crazy.
Are you ready, Rowdy?